Hello folks, and welcome to this new series of Garage Area, where I discuss various issues and topics from around the motorsport world, whether they're contemporary or not. Just so happens this first one I've got for you this week is pretty contemporary, despite the fact I originally had the idea a few weeks ago, and it's based on an issue that a NASCAR driver may have brought to the attention, and one that NASCAR didn't want him to bring to the attention, hence why they fined him for the most stupid reason in the history of all motorsports. It may get a little bit technical at some point along the line. I might actually move my glasses at some stage and have a variety of diecast models to demonstrate my points with. So, let's get started, shall we? Now, of course, the event I'm talking about is Denny Hamlin's criticism of the new NASCAR Gen6 car and NASCAR's subsequent slapping of the wrist of him and demanding he pay a fine for being so mean to their lovely new car. Although he did say it was worse in some aspects than the COT. Let me give you a clue as to some things that are better than the COT. A three-legged elephant, me with no legs, a Volvo estate with bricks instead of wheels. These are the things that are better than the COT. So he must have really meant his criticism. But his criticism was very specific, and I believe he may have had a very good point. His criticism was that due to the fact that the Gen 6 is still very aero orientated, it's a difficult car to drive in traffic. When you're tight up behind somebody in traffic, because it relies a lot on aero, and with the car in front of you taking the aero off your car, it's hard to pass in traffic, it's hard to pull off overtakes, and that's why the leader, whoever's in the lead, it doesn't matter how terrible their car is, how bad the tyres are, they will just run away because they have air. It's that simple. And we've seen that for years with the COT, and it seems to still be a problem with the Gen 6. Now, I've got some diecasts here to explain and help me kind of make my point. And I'm even going to put my glasses on to make me look like I know what I'm talking about. So, let's take a look first at a car with all the aero aids I just mentioned, at the Gen 6 and the COT. I don't have a diecast of the COT with me, I do apologise. But here is a V8 Supercar. Now, the V8 Supercars have had similar aero aids for years. This is in fact a model from 1998. So it's, oh no, actually 2000, sorry, my apologies. But my point is they've been around for quite a while. And let me just start by showing you that bit at the front there, if you didn't know already, is the splitter. Sorry, I'm having to do everything back to front here, so it's a little bit confusing. That's the splitter there, and obviously as the air hits the front of the car, it pushes down on that bit, and you get grip from the front there. You can also see on the side, these bits here along the bottom, little side skirts there, tiny little things really, and on the back, similar skirts there and there. It's a really small thing, and you think, well, that's surely inconsequential, but you'll be surprised how much that is, and how much that has an effect on the handling. Now, let's compare it to the old NASCAR, the Cup car, what I guess they're calling the Gen 4 now. So the COT is the Gen 5 in this sort of Stalinist, revisionist changing of history. Here it is. This is a car from 2006, incidentally. And as you can see on the front, no splitter. Absolutely no splitter. In fact, the only downforce it gets on the front in terms of aero is the fact it has a very low nose. So that pushes down like that there, but nothing on the front. So it's a completely flat front end. Same with the side skirts. There's nothing there. Completely flat sides. On the back, this big high-raised bumper, in fact this is very bad for downforce, it's very high up at the back. It allows air to get under it, hence why so many of them had problems of flipping. And that's an interesting point, on the point of flipping and crashes, because I actually tweeted the great Mike Joy, NASCAR and Fox commentator, on this issue. I said, why is there still quite a bit of aero on the new Gen 6 car? Why is there still the splitters and that? And he said, it's to stop flipping, it's a safety issue. And I thought, well, that's fair enough. But are we in a position now where that is it? Is there a way of doing that without getting to the point where it almost ruins the racing? It becomes very aero dependent. So this is my first question. Do you think Denny Hamlin had a point? I personally think he did. I mean, especially at Bristol. I've just watched the Bristol race. If you saw my Twitter feed, I was enjoying it, but I was also very frustrated because it was a good race, but it could have been better. Mainly because I think they've ruined Bristol a lot. It just looks like Michigan, but smaller. Whether they're all just they was going to a corner like that, and then just come up again, and then down, and then up again. And the fastest groove, as it seems to have been all year from Daytona and the last few years in the COT, you just fling the car in the corner, it washes up to the highest line, and then you come back down again. There's no skill putting it down to the bottom as it used to be at Bristol. You literally had to hog the yellow line at the bottom, and that was it. But that seems to be gone now. The most frustrating point of all was seeing slower cars on worse tyres just pull away at the front, just charge away, and faster cars would try and catch up in air, but they'd get up behind the guy in front and they wouldn't be able to pass. They just would get down to the bottom, come up, the guy would take the air off the side and the front splitter, that'd be that. You'd be gone. You just couldn't do it. And it was just so frustrating because you're just thinking, come on, this is a short track, this is where you get aggressive, you have to really use driver skill, excuse me, to get by. And it was infuriating. It was so infuriating. And this has been a problem for years in NASCAR. Larry McReynolds, whose opinion I respect, actually said that was a sign of good racing at Las Vegas when they were racing side by side for many laps. Larry, it's not that I don't bow to your years of experience, but I'm sorry. If you've got a faster car, you've got to be able to overtake the guy in front. It's simple. The guy in front can't just be able to just sit there and just by dint of being in front of you, be able to ruin your moves. It's just impossible. I mean, what's happened to tyre wear? How is it now that people can be rewarded for staying out in front on old tyres, and just because they're in front, they're automatically faster than the guy behind you on brand new tyres? It makes no sense, and it's incredibly frustrating. So that's my first question. Do you think the aero issue affects NASCAR? My second question, do you think it makes for better or worse racing in general? Because I'm going to bring you some more widespread examples now. Starting with this little model of a 1990s Super Touring era British touring car. Just bring it up to the camera there. So you can see there, little splitter on the front, no aero aids, I don't know if you can see it there, no aero aids on the sides, excuse my massive fingers, or on the back. A little bit of splitter in the front, little spoiler here, and that's it. And the British touring cars in the 90s produced, pound for pound, probably the most exciting racing in the world at the time. It was just astonishing. It was on a par with NASCAR. It was absolutely thrilling racing. And my point is, you can see there, bar the splitter, not much aero, not a huge amount of aero. A lot of it was mechanical grip. And you saw, especially in the early part of the 90s, when they weren't even allowed spoilers and wings, this wing on the back, they literally had, they were just almost like the stock cars with the roll cage in. They were sliding all over the place, they were slippering about, they were tricky cars to control, and the racing was epic. It was really just amazing stuff. Here as well, I mean, this is the world of rallying, so it's slightly different. Excuse me, these cars have been on display a bit. This is a Subaru Impreza from the 90s rally car. As you can see, no aero around the bottom at all. And then again, it's all about tight, muddy turns, so you have to keep it half the ground. On the other hand, and I wish I had some Formula 1 models here, but this will have to do. This is a Le Mans prototype, the Peugeot 908 from a few years ago. As you can see, heavy emphasis on aero. Big splitter on the bottom, huge bit there. Big air intakes, very aerodynamic, very slick down. Interestingly, no side bits on the side there, as you can see. And these back pods here with the spoiler all worked in. It's incredibly aero focused. And the racing in the prototypes has actually been quite good, which is an odd thing. Because the general theme, a lot of people seem to complain about, is that in series with heavy emphasis on aero, racing isn't so good. Take the DTM in Germany, or the greatest sport in the world, Formula 1. For years they've struggled with guys not being able to overtake because you get behind a guy in front, he takes the air off you and suddenly you have no handling because there's too much aero emphasis. The exception to this appears to be Indy cars, which is like Formula 1 but always strikes me as a little bit less aero oriented. Like there's less funny side pods and less little wings and contours and things. It seems to be a kind of balance of aero and mechanical grip. And that is my question. What makes for better racing? Does aero, an emphasis on aero, ruin racing? Can it be all about mechanical grip? Or is there room for aero? I mean, let me just list some of the best series in the world right now with regards to racing. The GT series of the ALMS, which is kind of aero, but not a huge amount. Not really. Not to the point where there's splitters and everything on the cars. Not at all. Not really. And they have incredible racing. But on the other hand, obviously aero equals more outright speed. I mean, I noticed the Gen 6 cars were going at incredible speeds around Bristol. Much faster than 10, 15 years ago. That's a natural progression anyway. But I guess in a roundabout way is is the emphasis on aero ruining NASCAR negatively? And how do we change it without affecting safety, which is obviously the paramount thing? And second question, does less aero equal more passing, better racing every time? If you disagree, give me examples of where you think, or if you agree, get involved. I want to hear from all of you. In the meantime, see you next time. I'm going to take the glasses off now. And see you next time, when hopefully I'll have thought of another subject. I haven't at the moment, but I will. So until then, see ya.